Salve, discipuli. All right, we're going to kind of polish up lesson 34 here. Please note there's going to be a quiz on this on Monday. Okay, so on that quiz you will have to know the vocabulary, complete entry. We've talked a lot about this. You need to try flashcards, you need to try Quizlet, you need to try some system, write it out. Okay, it's up to you to find a system that works for you. There are 20 words in this lesson. You should start studying tonight. Study tonight for tomorrow. Get some of those words under your belt. Okay? And then study again over the weekend. All right, you have to have these words mastered or you're going to lose a bunch of points on just the vocab section. All right, then there will be a section that focuses on the grammar from this lesson. And the things we need to be aware of are the rimus, and the limus, and then, well, let's focus on those two first. Those are different superlative endings. They work with the isthmus, to capture the most common ways to express a superlative. Okay? Now, you don't need to know all the formation rules. What you need to be able to do, let's try a different word. What you need to be able to do is recognize that something like miserimus, with that rimus in there, okay, with that rim in there, is a superlative. And so that is going to mean most miserable. You need to be able to recognize that rim is a superlative. Remember that these superlatives are first and second declension. So if I had something like miseremos, you would need to know that that means most miserable and that it is accusative case. Okay? So the limus will show up in words like similimi. Let's try that one. Okay? Here you'll note the lim, and again, you don't need to know how to form this, you just have to be able to recognize it. Okay? So that means this is a superlative, so it means most similar, or maybe most like. And you need to, again, remember that all superlatives follow first and second declension pattern, so that long I could either be nominative or genitive. All right, and we need to know our first through third declension well to be able to do this. All right, then there's another possible scenario that gives us comparatives and superlatives unlike the normal ones. And that is if we have something like magis, idone, let's say magis idonea. Okay, this word idoneus which means suitable, it will not form with an eor or an isthmus. It doesn't do any of that stuff. They simply put the word magis in front of it to say more suitable. All right, if you wanted to say most suitable, it would be something like this: maxime idonea. That's most suitable. Okay, so you see these two examples. All right, idoneus means suitable, but to make it comparative, you just add magis. To make it superlative, you just add maxime. All right, and this, of course, is a first and second declension adjective, so idonea here is obviously ablative. All right, that's the case in both instances, of course. Okay, so this is the sort of thing you need to be able to do on the quiz. If I give you an adjective like miseremos, you have to be able to translate it and identify the case. Similimi, translate, identify the case. Okay? All right, now, the next thing I want you to be able to do, or next thing I want you to look at in anticipation of the quiz, is page 195. On page 195, there's a list of words, list of adjectives that take the dative. Okay? They are mostly intuitive. All right, like the adjective amicus, which means friendly. We're going to say something like friendly to me. All right, and me, he goes in the dative. That's very logical. It's very intuitive. How about the word gratus, which means pleasing? So maybe we would say something like pleasing to us. Nobis is in the dative. So these adjectives just naturally lead to dative case nouns or pronouns. All right, let's try another one. equal to the girl. Okay? Again, this word equal just lends itself to a dative noun coming after it. All right, I don't spend a lot of time with this because basically if you can recognize the word as dative and you translate it like a dative, you're going to be fine. Okay? But what I want you to do for this quiz is just take a look at that list of adjectives. All right, be familiar with them. They're all adjectives you've seen before or are in this lesson, one of the two. So be familiar with them. Be ready to encounter them in situations like this with a dative so that you can translate them. Okay? And then the last task for you. And this will somehow show up on the quiz. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe as a little sentence to translate. I don't know. But you need to do this for Monday. You need to translate this sentence for Monday. Postro anno rex cupitus belli erat. You will get help on how to translate it by reading the little word studies section on page 196. There are a couple of little oddities in the Latin language that are talked about in the word study section on page 196. You need to just read that and then use that knowledge to translate this sentence for Monday. I'm sorry, for Monday, for Friday, for Friday, for Friday, for Friday, for tomorrow. Okay, this is the sentence you need to have down for Friday. Okay, that is all I have for you. Waleta.